Bongbong Marcos was not leading the presidential survey. The consistent top choice of Filipino people was none other than Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Let's admit it, without Marcos, BBM without Marcos as his family name, he is a nobody. Maayong gabi sa tanan. First, I'd like to thank the organizer because nasa Manila ako and they called me last night para maka-attend here. And so I just landed. Anhira ko diri and I'm doing this not for myself but for Tatay Digong. And I hope kamo nga na ako diri karon, you are also doing this not only for Tatay Digong but for our country. So kanina, while nasa flight ako, nagsulat ko speech kay abin ako ganang formal kay ang speech ba nabuhaton. So ang akong gibuhat naka-template ko. So since nag-effort naman lang pud ko, basahon na lang ako sa inyo ha. So in 2022, Bongbong Marcos was not leading the presidential survey. The consistent top choice of Filipino people was none other than Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Let's admit it, without Marcos, BBM without Marcos as his family name, he is a nobody. Kabalo mapunta di ba sa iyang background? Spoiled, anak mayaman, naka-eskwela abroad. Yet, we supported him just how we supported President Rodrigo Roa Duterte because we believe that he will fulfill his promise of continuity. Last election sa 2022, ang ipakita niya sa toa, i-continue niya ang legacy nga gi-build ni Tatay Digong, including the Build program and the fight against drugs and criminality. But after the election, just few months after the election, that promise was broken. The very things we feared would happen if the opposition won are exactly what unfolded under the administration of Bongbong Marcos. The same administration is now persecuting the very people who helped his family regain the power that they've lost for 35 years. Gihatagan nila og daghang responsibilidad si VP Sara. Aside sa fact na VP is the duly elected Vice President of the Philippines, gihimo usab siya ni Bongbong Marcos as Secretary of the Department of Education. On top of that, gihimo pud si VP Sara as Vice Co-Chairperson of the NTF-ELCAC. And gibuhat ni nila not because of confidence in VP Sara's leadership, but because they want to mask their incompetence. So si VP Sara ang ilang gihimong maskara para matapunan ang ilang incompetence, ang ilang pagpangurap, ang ilang lakastangan sa atong mga balaod. They had no direction. In 2022, asa si Bongbong Marcos, tuwa sa Singapore, nag-F1, nag-CGO travel. They have no real plans. Ang tanan niyang achievements in 2022 and 2023, these are all achievements or mga projects and programs that Tatay Digong has initiated. Yung nahitabo lang or na-complete during sa 2022 and 2023. 2 years of Bongbong Marcos presidency. So ang gibuhat nila, they loaded VP Sara with so many responsibilities. Again, she was tasked as the Secretary of Department of Education. Kay kay kabalo si Bongbong Marcos that we are lagging behind our ASEAN neighbors in terms of our education. So sa katong result, kung namin mga teachers dire, katong result sa PISA nga lowest ta sa reading comprehension, and at the same time nagkulang ta in terms sa mathematics and English and communications. So kani nga mga butang gibuhat o gi-reform ni VP Sara during her years sa DepEd. So si VP Sara nibuhat siya og madatag program. It's a form of reform nga gustong solusyonan ang atong mga kakulangan sa education. In the same breath, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, si VP Sara, gihimo siya ni Bongbong Marcos as Vice Co-Chairperson of the National Task Force to End Local Communists sa country. Ang kaninga task force, they are tasked to fight local insurgency. So ang mga kalaban ani, mga NPA, mga terorista. So because duha na ang posisyon ni VP Sara, tulo na ang posisyon ni VP Sara, DepEd Secretary, Vice President, and Vice Co-Chairperson of the NTF-ELCA, she created a whole-of-nation approach kung paano niya ma-implement o tarong ang iyang mga projects and programs. And this is the reason why gi-ask ang confidential funds. And after in 2022, the confidential fund was requested August pa lang. Because August pa lang, nag-start na ang implementation sa projects and programs. And August, September, until December, na-find out ng DepEd nga daghan di ay kaayong mga public schools nga under recruitment of the New People's Army. Hinay-hinay silang kakabuking ni VP Sara. And this is the reason why si Romualdez nakig-meeting sa Makabayan Block. And after siya nakig-meeting kay Franz Castro, kay Raul Manuel, kay Arlene Brosas, and other members of the Makabayan Block, in just few days, nag-float ang information na si VP Sara daw i-impeach. Dito ni Sugutanan, they are now attacking VP Sara's confidential fund, saying that it wasn't spent properly and that she corrupted all of those daw kasi nga mali-mali ang pangapangalan niya nakabutang sa mga receipts. But to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, sa akong mga kaigsuunan diri sa Davao, this is a part of the greater plan because they want to block VP Sara of becoming the next president of the Philippines in 2028. And during that time, in 2022 and 2023, wala ni isa sa mga tao nga gisuportahan ni VP Sara ang nitabang niya. Wala ni isa sa mga tao nga iyang gi-endorse during the 2022 elections ang nisuporta sa iyaha. At kani siya nga mga tao kadaghanan sa ilaha na pildi karong 2025. But to tell you honestly, there is only one person who did not turn his back, and it is the father, the former president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So FPRRD utilize SMNI, utilize his voice and influence using the SMNI, the program nga gikan sa masa para sa masa. It is where he defended VP Sara sa iyahang confidential fund. Ang result, this administration shut down SMNI. At wala sila nag-stop diha. Ang ilang pang gibuhat, aside from the fact that Digong is getting more supporters, when he started speaking in front of thousands of Filipinos during the Maisog rallies, they allowed the ICC to enter and illegally, unlawfully arrest him. Mao kini ang gibayad ni Bongbong Marcos sa tanang tabang sa mga Duterte sa ilang pamilya. si Tatay Digong gihatagan niya og saktong lubnganan ang amahan ni Bongbong Marcos, pero ang gibuhat ni Bongbong Marcos gipakulong ang tao nga maoy nagpalubong sa iyang amahan. Baga kaayo sila naong. And this is exactly the reason why we are here. March 11, 2025. It marks as the day in our nation's history, a day when we witnessed this administration unlawfully arrested former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and illegally brought him to The Hague. And today marks his 100 days in detention. 100 days is too long. 100 days of detention over allegations that are unproven, some of which don't even exist. Take for example, the claim that 30,000 people ang victims sa extrajudicial killings. Ang acting attorney sa mga victims nga si Cristina Conte, she said, and even until now, keeps on posting that they need to look for those people nga victims sa EJK. And what it means by that, it means that they don't have the record. And that 30,000 EJK victims do not exist. Official records from the Philippine National Police indicate that approximately there are only 6,000 deaths from 2016 to 2022. And within that number, majority of this happened within the bounds of the law because the state has the very right to protect its citizens from the influence of drugs and from the hands of the criminals. Admittedly, there are incidents, isolated incidents, wherein there are forms of abuses that our police officers have done. Say for example, the one I mentioned about Kian De Los Santos. The case of Kian De Los Santos, 3 of the police officers involved in his killing were already found guilty of murder and sentenced to reclusion perpetua. While they were acquitted of planting evidence and firearms, their conviction for murder stands as a proof that our domestic courts work. This means that the Philippine judiciary is functioning very well. It recognizes crimes, it holds perpetrators accountable, and it delivers ruling. It may not be perfect, but it is willing and capable of pursuing justice. And under the principle of the ICC, complementary principle, the ICC can only intervene if the state party is unwilling and unable to prosecute crimes. But if we look at the current status quo, nahatagan gani og hustisya si Kian De Los Santos, ang pinaka-sensationalize nila nga kaso, nahatagan ni hustisya, meaning to say our courts are capable and able to prosecute crimes. And that means the ICC has no jurisdiction in the country. Kasi nga, by complementary principle, they can only intervene if the state is unable or unwilling to prosecute crimes. Now, if Marcos and Romualdez want to invoke the Rome Statute, kaya mauman nilang argument always, then it should be applied in full, not selectively. Why? Because if they are applying one article or one provision of the Rome Statute, then they forgot to apply Article 59 of the ICC, which states that, or which requires that anyone subject to ICC arrest must be brought before a competent judicial authority. Ang nahitabo during the hearing of Senator Amy Marcos, it was uncovered. Tatay Digong, wala di ay siya na surrender sa competent judicial authority. And that's already a very big violation. Now, in international law, and even in our constitutional law, we call it extraordinary rendition. And it means that it's unconstitutional or it's prohibited by law because the state cannot just surrender one person to the other state. Daghan kay kaso sa atong mga OFWs na kung saan dito sila nakulong sa laing nasod o ang atong government og ways para mapabalik nato and ma-prosecute nato if that person is guilty of doing or of enemies doing or if that person committed mistakes. Pero unahin po karon nabali na. Karon gina-surrender sa administration ang former president, ang tao who protected us from drugs, criminalities, and even from the hands of the new people army. So, kanisha, as mentioned by VP Sara, this is very an impeachable offense. Ang dapat i-impeach karon is si Bongbong Marcos. Why? Because surrendering a Filipino to a foreign entity is a betrayal of public trust. Nga naman, because it undermines our sovereignty. Wala na dili na tayo independent as a nation when we allow others or when we allow foreign powers to come into our country and meddle with our internal affairs. So karon ang gagahitabo sa atong nasod kabaliktaran. Sa una, we are helping Filipinos abroad mubalik diri sa ato ang nasod para i-prosecute sila sa crimes nga ilang nakumit. Karon ginasurrender na nato sa laing nasod ang mga tao na allegedly ni-commit og crime within the Philippines. Another big example is ang nahitabo karon sa Comelec. Ang sa Comelec karon ang halos mga pro-Duterte officials nga nadaog voted by Filipino people or by their constituents, automatically they are disqualified. Gitanggalan sila og katungod nga mulid sa mga tao nga niboto sa ilaha. Og katong mga tao nga pro-Marcos, pro-Romualdez, even if they are not voted by people, sila ang gibuhat or sila ang gihatagan og posisyon karon sa administrasyon ni Bongbong Marcos. Again, ang gagahitabo sa iyang administration is kabaliktaran kung unsa dapat ang i-follow nato under the rule of law. So to the Davaoenos, I know that you've shown your protest vote. I know that you've shown your love to PRRD during the last elections. Walay nahitabo ang pagpaligo nila og kwarta, ang pagpamalit nila og boto diri sa Davao. Sa makita nato, ang conversion lang sa ilang votes 80,000 compared to Tatay Digong nga more or less voted by 600,000 Davaoenos. This is a show of force. And I know that Tatay Digong is aware of what you as Davaoenos are doing to help him out. So sa iyang ika-100 days karon sa detention, I call upon everyone to pray and include the lawyers that they should be guided nga makabuhat sila og tarong desisyon para sa iyang interim release. Ganaan di ay mo nga i-disqualify nila si Tatay Digong unya pasudlon ang tao nga wala nila og sa eleksyon. Mauna karon, timing kaayo ang gagahitabo sa Comelec that they are allowing someone to replace a duly elected official because it's a prelude of what they will do sa Davao City. And for sure, they would consider this as fake news again because they have been labeling me as fake peddler. But this is merely an analysis. I'd like to emphasize this. This is an analysis of what's happening in the country right now. O sa ato pang nakita, kung i-observe ninyo ang kakahitabo, wala yun. Baliktad ang kakahitabo sa panahon ni Marcos. Enough na ta sa ang atong, sorry, I'm running out of words, medyo pag-iput-chat lang. Enough na ang atong tapang na ipakita kay Tatay Digong during the 2025 midterm elections. Pero naapatay mas mabuhat as Davaoenos. And we should protect the votes we casted sa atong pinalanggang mayor sa atong syudad. 600,000 people more or less ang niboto kay Tatay Digong. We should not allow Comelec to rule on that matter. We should not allow them nga dapat nilang tapakan ang votes nga gipakita nato para kay Tatay Digong. And mapakita pa nato ni siya karon kasi hapit na siya manumpa. Oath is manumpa, no? Yeah. So, kato lang. So, to Tatay Digong, Tay, don't worry, we are praying for you. Halos na taga Davao, nagabantay mi sa imo always, every day. And naarami sa imong likod always. And on top of everything, we pray for you for good health. We pray for wisdom. We pray for guidance. And we will bring you back here. Ang Davao, para sa mga Davaoenos, and we are better if naa si Tatay Digong. Maulang o daghang salamat.